All right, what's going on today, YouTube? Welcome back to your favorite cyclist YouTube channel. This week, we're talking about a smart bike lock. But before we get into today's video, if you're new to my channel, make sure you head down below, hit that subscribe button for me. If you already are subscribed, make sure you hit that bell icon right next to that. That way you get notified every time I upload. That way you don't miss any of this awesome cycling content on this channel. So like I said, today we're taking a look at a smart bike lock here. And this bike lock is from the guys at E-Link Smart. So they reached out to me and had this kind of interesting lock I don't think I've ever seen before. So first off, this is a cable lock. They say it's 20% thicker. I'm not quite sure what they're comparing the thickness to. Maybe a previous version, but 20% thicker. I'll say this guy is kind of small. If there was one complaint, it's about the cable here. That's the only really complaint I have. We'll kind of get to that as we go through this here. So, smart lock. You're kind of looking at this guy and you're like, how do you unlock it, right? This is a fingerprint lock. So, you pretty much program your fingerprint into the app, and once you use your fingerprint, you can pick whichever fingerprint you want. It will go ahead and unlock our lock right there, and you're able to lock up your bike or whatever you want to lock up with it. Kind of neat little design. I don't think I've ever used a fingerprint lock. I don't think I've ever used a fingerprint lock, besides like on my phone, but never like a physical lock like this. So, you have one side, which is going to be the right side. That's right side? Hold up. You're looking at right side. Kind of your normal side that your lock is going to come out on. That's going to be a side that pops out. The other side is attached in there, and it can spin around in whatever direction you need it to spin on. So, pretty simple premise there. USB-C rechargeable, lasts up to 6 months just on standby mode, up to 2,000 plus lock and unlocks. So, it can do quite a bit on this little guy. It also has a nice battery indicator right at the bottom here. Go ahead and tap that. You can see our 4 dots pop up at the bottom. That's going to tell you your battery percentage. Charges really fast as well, and as it gets down on low battery, pretty easy to just plug it in and you're set to go from there. So, lock it back up. There we go. Gives me the blue light that we are all set. So with a smart lock, one of the things you're going to need is, of course, the app. So you have to go download the app for this lock. So we've already gone ahead and downloaded the app here, which is the eSmart Lock app. And when you get the lock, there's a QR code in the instructions, so you can just download that from there. Super simple app to install. You're going to go ahead and make an account. Pretty kind of self-explanatory nowadays. Make an account to save your information. And one of the things that you're making the account for as well is so that you can share your lock with other people and give other people access to unlock your bike lock. Kind of neat how that works. So obviously you can go into the app, and once you have it connected, you can program your fingerprints into here. I will say, if you don't use the app, you're kind of stuck in all access mode. That pretty much means it's kind of like in a test mode. That means anybody's fingerprint's gonna unlock this guy. So you need the app to pretty much deactivate that and activate it for your fingerprints. Once you have that set, it's just you that can unlock it. It's kind of cool how it sets it up that way. And you can set up as many fingers as you want to set up. So I have my fingers. I have my daughter's finger because she wanted to try and unlock it. So we have those different fingerprints in there so that you can control access to your lock. And as you place your finger a few different times, so you kind of get the different grooves of your fingerprints onto there. So it knows where your fingerprint is, and it can kind of get that in a couple different places versus just one single spot. So I will say it is a little finicky. Sometimes it just doesn't want to. Sometimes it doesn't want to unlock. Sometimes it'll unlock the first time. It's hard to describe when it works, when it doesn't. Because sometimes it works really well. Other times you gotta push fingerprint on there like 5 times to get it to actually unlock. Could be just the time I did my fingerprint. It could be my fingerprints are just so jacked up from all the stuff I do. But that's kind of my experience. Is sometimes it works. Sometimes you have to try a couple times. But I've always been able to get this thing unlocked without really much of an issue to it. Once you have that app installed on your phone, so of course you can set your fingerprints on there. You can also connect it to like your Apple Watch. You can connect to an Apple Watch. If you have that, you can unlock it from your Apple Watch. You can also unlock it from in the app. There's an unlock button in the app that's signed in under you. You can also send out links. So if you have friends that have a similar lock or you want to share that with them, if they were to download the app, make an account, you can share your lock code with them. And pretty much that gives them access through their app to unlock your lock. So it's not going to be fingerprint for them. It's going to be through the app. But it's kind of neat that it has that smart feature there. So you can, if you need someone to unlock your bike or unlock a gate or something like that, you can stick this guy on there and they can unlock that just with their app while you have full access to just your standard fingerprint right there. So pretty neat how that all works. Like I said, it's my first time with a smart bike lock here, or any kind of smart lock. So for the lock itself, what do I think about it? So first off, like I said, the cable is kind of my only concern and complaint with this lock. First off, that's really thin wire. I have cut thicker than that with wire cutters. So that's kind of my concern with that, is it's not a very thick cable. I don't know what the 20% thicker is, but yeah, size matters in this case. So you kind of need to make, it's kind of a thin diameter, definitely not a major lock for your bike. It's going to be kind of a secondary or a third lock, maybe for a helmet, something along those lines. The other thing with the cable that I've kind of run into is, at least for the bike I've used it on, which the good old Norton here, it's kind of small. It's just about an inch too small to actually lock it up the way I do. So I ride this bike every day to and from school to pick my daughter up and drop her off. And I pretty much, with the bike racks at her school, are pretty much the ones where you roll your front wheel into the rack and then you would lock up from there. The way I've been locking it up is pretty much between the front wheel and the rack. Pretty basic. I'm only gone for a minute or two, and honestly, the bike's within sight most of the time. So honestly, I use my locks for this bike as more of a keep honest people honest, and make sure no one can just walk off with my bike really easily. So I went to go do that the first day I went to use this, and this is like an inch too short to actually clip back in. And I kind of realized, ooh, that's not good. It's just a hair too short. And so I kind of had to do some wonkiness and kind of lock it through the spokes. Kind of works. Not my favorite thing in the world. I like locking it to something that's actually like super secure, like solid, like the rim of a bike. So that's kind of my personal thoughts there, my opinion on there. Now, obviously, if you're leaning this up against like a fence or something like that, you can most likely put it through your top tube, around the fence, and back in on itself. Like I said, it is a little tight to do it, but I think that's kind of more what this lock was designed for, was to do something like that. Lock up your top tube to like a fence or something like that, or even a rack. So there's something to be aware of, is it's just a little bit short for my liking here. So the other thing you can see is the locking pin here. It's kind of an interesting pin. So it has essentially like rubber O-rings on here, so I'm assuming are to keep moisture out of the locks. This is an all-weather lock made to run in pretty much any temperature you want to run it in, down to like -4 degrees Fahrenheit or something in all conditions. So it has a couple O-rings on here, and then it essentially just has one notch. And I believe that one notch is all that grabs in here. So go ahead and lock that in there. That's why you can kind of move it a little bit. Assuming this side has the same kind of deal, but you can move it a little bit. Once it's locked in there, you pull it back and forth. I believe that is the O-rings kind of moving around in there. Now, once this guy is locked, so it kind of makes some noise when it locks, because this obviously is an electronic lock. So, try and have you guys hear the noise here. You can see it makes a little bit of noise, kind of let you know it unlocked. Unlocked, honestly, it's a pretty simple lock. For me, a smart lock, it's a pretty simple lock. For bikes, I don't know. Like I said, this isn't going to be your main lock. I would not use this as your main lock for your bike. This is going to be for either locking your helmet to your bike or using this as like a secondary lock, maybe between your frame and your rear wheel, something along those lines. Not going to be the main lock I would use to fully lock up a bike for like high security kind of situation. For really low security, it's better than not having a lock at all, but you're going to carry this around, secondary lock, or maybe the lock of your gates, something along those lines, where this guy, I feel like it'd be a little bit more home as kind of a smart padlock. It's kind of where I would consider this guy to be at. So big thanks to E-Link Smart for sending me out their smart bike lock here, and let me test it out. Show you guys kind of a different lock that honestly I have no experience with, that I thought was kind of a different thing that some of you might be interested in. If you guys are interested in checking one out for yourselves, there's going to be a link in the description down below. Check it out, give them some love. If you guys enjoyed the video or maybe learned something new about smart locks today, give this video a big thumbs up. Appreciate the support. Any comments or questions, let me know down in the comment section below. Love talking to you guys. Love answering questions you guys have. And I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching today.